because you're talking about two things at the same time. And that's why it's complicated to understand. Because if you look in the illusion, then you clearly have a choice. You clearly have a choice that you can choose to be greedy, or you can choose to be altruistic. You can choose to be in the ego and participating and sad and angry and all of that, and start arguments with other people. You can choose to do that, or you can choose to let go of the identifying and just be in the observer, where you are, where you deeply know in you that there's nothing to strive for, because you already are. The problem with the ego is that it believes in something bigger than itself, that is outside of itself. So something bigger is outside of me, where the authentic knows that there's nothing bigger outside of me. I'm a part of it. I had a question earlier from somebody asking me, is it true that all non-dual people are vegetarians? And it's so difficult, I cannot answer that. I can say that as soon as you know that there's no difference between anyone, then killing and exploiting becomes very, very difficult. So in that, you have a choice. Do you want to kill and exploit, or don't you want to kill and exploit? There's a choice in that. On the other level, which is if you completely remove the I, the someone believing itself to exist as an ego or as an authentic, and you're just looking at the biochemistry happening. So there's no identifying with anything. It's just biochemistry happening. When specific hormones are present, you have no choice in how that is affecting you. For example, if you have too much adrenaline, your pupils will dilate, you will get a faster heart rate, your digestion will stop, and you will not be able to sleep. You will be able to fight, and you will be able to run, but you won't be able to digest, because why would you when you're running away from an axe murderer? You know, you wouldn't sit down for a great meal then. So therefore, that is chemically happening, and you have no way of changing that. You know, it's like the ball is already rolling, so you can't change that. The same thing, if you have too little serotonin, you will get an anxiety. If you have too little dopamine, you will get depression. So it's like there's specific hormones that are doing specific things, and you cannot override it. So in that sense, that is out. That is not. You haven't got a free will in that at all. It's just like waking up during the night. If you have stress, you don't have a free will in that. It's just happening. It's just like if somebody says something and you get embarrassed or shameful, then you blush. You have no free will in that either, because it's chemistry, and chemistry always wins. But that is here in the biological being, even with the identifying and with the non-identifying. Beyond that, there's the void, and that's where non-duality is. That is where there's pure existence, not as you and I, but there just is, and everything is present, so nothing is missing. And it's why I call it the void, or call it the space. I have another video where I talk about that you can imagine a room that is the void which you are a part of. And there it does not matter about free will.
Yeah.
So it's like it's complicated to talk about, because it depends on what tier we're talking.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can only get, for example, if somebody hears it now that I'm sitting and saying that you have no free will and it doesn't matter, if you get the feeling of existential dread, then it's because you are in the illusion, you are in the ego, you are identifying with your life, and you don't want to lose it. which is completely understandable. I completely get that. I completely get that. What you can do if you're sitting there with existential dread and with fear or with an anxiety is creating space for what is. If you have fear, if you have an anxiety, then first of all, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with you. You have a specific chemical pattern that is giving you the existential dread. You have a specific chemical pattern that gives you an anxiety, and it's okay. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just chemistry, so you're completely fine as you are. And then you can start to create space to what is. If you know that it's not your fault, you haven't done anything wrong, you have not attracted this is not a punishment from anyone, it's just chemistry happening, then you can take all the suffering out of it and start to create space for what actually is.